The most anticipated show of your week.
That's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Keep It a Buck Podcast. What's going on, good people? This is the Keep It a Buck Podcast. I am your humble, gracious, and highly favorite host, DJ Impossible.
What?
As always, sitting across me is E.
The bad guy.
What's going on, big dog?
What's up, man? Episode 19.
Episode 19. I'm about to go ahead and get straight into it.
Let's do it. What you got?
Yeah.
So far, so good?
So far, so good.
How was your week?
Man, it was very interesting. It was very interesting, to say the least. At work, some things have been moving in a certain way, and it wasn't good. So then someone finally said, okay, enough is enough. We about to draw the line. And everyone was expecting it to be bad. Like the outcome was going to be bad. And then today proved that, nah, we all adults. We all know what we need to be doing. We know we'd all crossed the line. Everybody took the time to apologize to whoever they did something wrong to. And it was a great day. I absolutely loved it.
Well, I'm glad you worked that out.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
That's good.
What about you?
Oh, man, same old, same old. You know what I'm saying? Like the old school say. You know, had a very interesting week. You know what I mean? Yeah, still got a lot of projects to finish up. You know what I'm saying? Deadlines are coming up. So I need to finish that, get that out the way so we can start this new season I'm excited about.
Oh, yeah. The season finale.
Keep it a buck.
The season finale. I still got the venue. I got it.
We straight on that.
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday, and he was like, "We still doing?" I was like, "Yeah, we got it."
Okay,
So.
because this is 19. Once we finish 19, 20 is the finale.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that'd be so great. So let's just jump into a random topic. We talked about it a little bit before we started the show.
Yeah.
I've talked about it with some people at work. The T.I. thing.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So apparently, from what I hear,
Okay.
he took his daughter, who is 18, to the gynecologist, and they went and, did this, whatever they do with the gynecologist. And he wanted to know everything about it. Like, he wanted to know if his daughter was having sex and all this other stuff. Because apparently he was in an interview talking about it.
Okay.
So, from that point, only saying that, how do you feel about that right there? As a father,
I don't agree with that.
Why not?
Well, first of all, because if my daughter's 18 and like in real life, I took my daughter to the gynecologist plenty of times, but I never even thought about asking the doctor like if she's having sex or anything like that. Because I'm not expecting that from the doctor. I'm expecting that from my own daughter. You know, I know a lot of kids are not gonna come to you and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm having sex," blah blah blah. Especially when it's a female. I still don't agree with going to the gynecologist and asking the doctor if my daughter is having sex, because I feel like if you're 18, then why should I violate your privacy? Why should I, discuss anything like that with the doctor if that's not my concern? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand if T.I. is concerned, that if that's his concern, then that's him. But for me, I don't want to find that out that way. I would rather my daughter to come to me and talk to me.
That's the first time I've heard that being said, and I can agree with that.
Yeah.
But my question was gonna be, since you said since she was 18, if it was 17, 16, 15, would you want to know?
No.
Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, she's 18, she's an adult," no, and I get that.
Right.
And if you ask, they'll be like, "Oh, well, she's 18, I can't tell you."
Right.
Like, I mean, because technically she's grown. But anything before that, I'm like, would you want to know? Because technically, I mean, if something is wrong, they're going to tell you anyway.
as a parent, for me, as a parent, even if you doesn't matter what age you are, I still respect you as my daughter. I still respect you as my son. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When she, I have daughters. So, if you're 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I'm going to talk to you. And I'm going to teach you what I know. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you about, sex, and I'm going to talk to you. You see what I'm saying? And I want to, for me, I built a relationship, with my daughter. I had a good relationship with her, so she was able to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I have that type of trust with my daughter. You feel what I'm saying? So it shouldn't be no doubt, you know what I'm saying, for you to go to the doctor and, and ask him those kind of questions if your daughter is not coming to you and telling you, hey, listen, Dad, this is what I'm going through, blah, 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 this and that. You feel what I'm saying?
I can understand that.
For many parents, it's different.
I can understand it, but with any age group or generation, you're it's still gonna. I don't, because, and we've discussed it on the show, talking about how this generation differs from past generations. Used to, like, whenever you would be sexually active, there would be a point where you would have a conversation with your parents, like, hey, I'm doing this or whatever, and then you would go from there. Now we're glorifying the fact that we have teen moms, or we have this culture who, we literally have a Me Too movement. Like, maybe it's not the fact that she was just out having sex or whatever. Maybe something happened and he just wants to know. Because sometimes, like, along with the Me Too movement, because something happened, they don't want to know because they're ashamed of it and they feel like they've done something wrong when they haven't. So I can get it from that aspect of it. And I understand the other aspect, saying, no, you're grown, we need to have that relationship. I get it. But at the same time, as a dad, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we close, but, like, I just want to know. And if I ask you and you, like, blow it off or whatever the case may be, I'm still going to be curious. Would I personally be like, hey, you need to tell me what my daughter doing? Nah, I'm not going to do that. Right. But like I was saying before, I think it's blown a little bit out of proportion because of who he is. Because say some random person said that, you're not going to make a big deal out of it.
Right.
It's just because he said it in an interview and he's a famous person. That's what it is. Any little thing that anybody else would do doesn't matter because they don't have a platform. They're not on a podcast. They don't have millions of records sold. They're not on TV. They don't have all their life in the spotlight. So it doesn't matter. So
what you're saying is they took that out of context.
I don't think they took it out of context. I think the fact that he offered it, because when you are in the limelight, mm-hmm. whether you want things to be out or not, they're gonna get out. So he was just like, I'm just gonna be upfront about it. Yeah, I want to know everything. He would rather it come from him than somebody else say, oh, well, did you know that T.I. was at the gynecologist and he said, nah, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, I was at the gynecologist and I told him, hey, tell me everything. And I'm kind of with that, because he's like, it's gonna get out eventually anyway. I'm just gonna let you know now. Yeah, I need to know it all. Like, I support these kids. I do everything for these kids. Everything that they are doing, they're doing because I'm their dad. Yeah, I need to know everything, because as soon as you start doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, I'm gonna cut you off. So from that aspect of it, I'm like, okay, I understand why you're doing it. Would I do it? No. So I get it.
So okay, I got you. So you understand both sides.
Yeah, I understand both sides. Like for me personally,
Because I'm pretty sure there's like a couple of dads out there, you know what I'm saying?
a lot of
they go to the gynecologists and do all that, you know what I'm saying?
Because
even moms.
Yeah, because when you think about it, if something's wrong, the first thing the doctor's gonna do anyway is be like, "Hey, I think you should know," blah 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 blah. So what's the difference in the doctor going ahead and telling you now and you asking?
Right.
So I get it. Would I do it? Nah, I don't think so.
For sure.
So yeah, that's we talked about that for like an hour at work today, and I was like, I get it. It's a little weird because of the way he worded it.
Yeah.
It's not like he was in there with the doctor, like probing. Like no,
of course not.
He was just like, "Hey, I want to know."
Of course not.
So yeah, I mean, I get it.
Okay, for sure. So what else we talking about?
Well, I want to talk about the fact that Whitney Houston's longtime manager came out and
I heard about that
and was talking about a whole bunch of stuff that people didn't know, and probably some stuff that didn't need to be said. But since people are talking about it, let's talk about it. So apparently, it was said that her and Whitney were in a relationship, and then she broke up with her by giving her a Bible, and like that was the end of their relationship. So, and I'm starting to see a trend of things after great performers who have a huge legacy pass on, like Whitney now, Luther Vandross,
right?
Michael Jackson, Prince. A lot of people are coming out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, well, I was in a relationship with him," and a lot of them are saying it was men with men or men with women or whatever.
Right.
And I'm thinking, are these people doing this because they want the truth out? Are they doing this because they're spiteful or vengeful? Are they trying to mess up these people's legacies? Like, I really wonder, what's the like, you went your entire life.
What's your intentions?
Like, yeah, you went your entire life up to this point and didn't say nothing to nobody.
Right.
And now all of a sudden,
you're writing a book. You
write a book, or you have an interview, or something happened.
You just felt like you wanted to say something.
Like something happened, and now all of a sudden, here comes the quote unquote truth. What do you think that stems from?
Okay, so when we talk about Whitney Houston and her manager, the first thing that popped to my mind is jealousy. I mean, we're gonna keep it a buck here. You know, this is the bad guy, and I'm keeping it a buck. The first thing I think about is jealousy. I think that she was always jealous of Whitney's talent, Whitney's, everything, her whole lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really if you really was in love with her, like you say you were, or they were in love, she's saying they were, then this would have came out a long time ago when Whitney was being single. You know what I'm saying? And wasn't dealing with Bobby at that time. You feel what I'm saying? All this stuff would have came out to me. To me, I think it would have came out a long time ago before, she passed away.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I feel like the intentions of her coming out at this time, 5 years later, saying that, that her and Whitney had a romantic relationship or intimate relationship, I just think it's bogus, man. You know what I'm saying? Or just trying to promote your book or trying to promote whatever you got going because you're trying to make money, and at the same time, you know what I'm saying, you want people to she feels like, to me, she's saying that she feels like she needs to tell the truth, but you don't really have to do that because you kind of like destroying her legacy in a way. You know what I'm saying? You just saying, if y'all really want to know the truth.
You know what? I don't think any of those people could ever destroy any of those legacies, no matter who it was. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but
Because
you're trying.
I don't think that that's what they're trying to do. Because if you actually loved those people or had love for them at one point or whatever, you wouldn't be like, I'm doing this to get back at her, or I'm doing this so there's like an asterisk by her legacy or by her name in all the books. Like, nah. Because if you honestly know, like, let's keep it a buck. Michael Jackson was homosexual. I mean,
okay,
that's just how I feel. That don't change none of his music. That don't change all the good things that he's done. He was on trial for doing some very questionable things. Did he do it? No one knows except for the people that was in it. Whatever. But even if 150 people walk up to you tomorrow and say, I did this with Michael Jackson, Thriller's still gonna be Thriller. I mean, so nothing you do or say now can affect that. So my real question is, are you doing it because you want recognition for being that person, or is it only because you're like, I'm running out of other options of money or whatever, and I know if I just say this, everyone's gonna want to get a interview, kind of like what I've been saying about Kanye West, which that's a perfect segue. Kanye West just was randomly saying whatever he wanted. People were like, why are you saying that? You have to get me in an interview, which means you have to pay me for me to explain. So then he does that. People think, oh, Kanye crazy, he losing his mind, whatever. Okay, maybe, who knows? No one but him. So now he's got his new album called Jesus is King. And I told myself at first, I was like, I'm not listening to it. Because I was like, I don't know. But then something told me, said, no, just click on the first song just to see. I clicked on the first song and I was like, okay. Nothing offensive so far. So I listened to a little bit more, and I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, which I'm planning on doing. But then after I listened to it, I started watching those interviews he was doing after the album came out, or around the time the album was coming out. And every video, with the exception of maybe one, everyone is saying, whether he's doing it mockingly or not, that is the number one searched album of all of 2019.
I heard it was number one.
Yeah.
Already. I haven't heard the album yet.
So, and he's got notable people on the album. Like the great Fred Hammond, pastor, evangelist, the list goes on and on.
Okay.
I don't think that if Fred Hammond thought that wasn't real, he wouldn't have been on that album. You don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm gonna make a gospel album. Hey Fred, will you get on my album? And he just says yes. That don't just happen.
Mm-hmm. You have to go through a journey before you even try to do all that. Exactly. And I think that's what probably he probably did.
A lot of people say, oh well, he made songs with Kirk Franklin. I don't think Kirk is the pinnacle now, because he was the pinnacle because he was bringing young people into the church by using a different style of music and a different sound and bringing us back in. Right. Now he's kind of like jumping across the fence. To me personally, he jumps across the fence and he does some music, and then he jumps back across the fence and he's back to his original. He
wavers back and forth.
Fred has never wavered for me.
Right.
Fred was like, nah, this is it. And if it's not this, then I'm not on that. So when I saw Fred Hammond's name on the album, I said, oh no, this is something serious.
Yeah.
Or Kanye just got everybody fooled.
Well, before I even make any comments on his intentions on doing this album, I haven't heard the album yet. So I need to listen to the album in order for me to make that type of, to make any type of comments on that. You know what I'm saying? But to me, like seeing it from the outside, like I said, you have to go through a journey, a spiritual journey, in order for you to make that happen, because you cannot, and I'm gonna say it, you can't not, and I'm gonna say it twice, can't, like already
like a double negative. I'm gonna use a double negative so it catches your attention. You can't not.
You feel what I'm saying? You can't just wake up anytime and say, okay, I'm gonna just do a gospel album.
I'm just gonna do this gospel album, and it's just gonna be number one. No, you can't just wake up and do that.
Nah, you have to put some work into it, man. It has to.
So I think that's interesting. But back towards this, why I say this is a good segue. You have all of these different people from all these different walks of life who are, and it kind of goes back to the T.I. thing. We're all staring at you because you're a celebrity. You're supposed to be, quote unquote, the best of us because we've selected you to put you on this pedestal. Whatever you do while you on this pedestal is up to you. So yeah, we're going to put Whitney up on this pedestal and say, hey, I'm Every Woman is one of the greatest songs of all time.
Was a remix from wasn't it Shaka Khan?
So you have that. And then you have like Luther Vandross having all of his amazing songs that millions of men done sang today, woman.
Yeah.
And then later on you find out that possibly that I'm Every Woman was her saying I really love women, or Luther was singing to his secret boyfriend at the time.
Just like
does that take away from how great that song is?
No. It ain't gonna take away anything.
So
just like George Michael, just recently his quote unquote boyfriend, or I don't know, I guess his husband or something. Yeah,
everybody knew.
Came out. I mean, but you know that George Michael was,
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But to say that, he died from AIDS, if he didn't want that out there, then why would you want to put that out there?
Because,
you see what I'm saying?
Because a lot of times.
Look at Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury did, came out at the end and said, look, I have AIDS.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Because a lot of people, especially nowadays, associate one with the other.
Right.
Oh, he was homosexual. He died suddenly. Oh, he had AIDS.
Right.
It's a guilty by association thing, which it's wrong. But
right, and it always link those two together.
They link it together, and whether it's common or not, it still shouldn't be. Oh, he died just all of a sudden. Oh, he had AIDS. How you know he had AIDS? Oh, he's gay. That don't mean that he just automatically,
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand. So I have friends who are bisexual, homosexual. Some of them, they have to explain it to me because it's like, you have the LGBTQ plus community. That's the plus is for all the other stuff.
Right.
Some of this stuff I don't know what it is. Like people will be like, I identify as a meerkat or whatever, right. And you just kind of have to, and then they have to tell you their pronouns. Like, oh, I'm a dude, but I identify as a woman, so you say she and her and stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's some extreme stuff. So this is a message for all these people, including straight people.
Message.
Whenever it stopped, and I was like, what happened? But if you don't agree with it, that's cool.
Don't agree with what?
If you don't agree with somebody else's beliefs and how they live their life, that's cool because you
Okay.
don't have to.
That's
fine.
right.
Do people think it's wrong? Yes. Do people think it's whatever is whatever? Yes. But they're still people.
Right.
And this is going to anger a lot of people. But whatever.
You gotta keep it a buck.
Keeping it a buck.
DJ. Impossible.
If you looking at somebody
Go ahead.
and they never say their sexual preference, will them telling you all of a sudden, you can be best friends with somebody for years and not know
Right.
because they put on the facade.
Okay.
If you find out that they're different,
Later on. Right.
why does this one piece take away all the greatness from that person? If we're really our brother's keeper like we're supposed to be, or
Okay.
brothers and sisters keeper,
Right.
why is it we instantly give up instead of, and I'm not saying push all your beliefs on people. I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
What I'm saying is it shouldn't be, oh, you not this, I'm not talking to you no more.
Okay.
Now you're alienating something.
Okay.
You're treating it like it's, oh, well, that's my deciding factor. That's it. I'm done. No, that's not how things should be. Like, we're all still people,
Right.
whether you agree with one thing or not.
For sure.
So we all need to come together, come to an understanding about things,
Right.
and move forward. A lot of black people don't like talking about this. And I'm like, okay, so a lot of them are mad because it seems like out of the blue, that community is getting all of their justice quicker than we got ours. But they don't realize this has been happening since way back.
Right.
Like, people always talk about in the Bible, in Jericho, they destroyed all the people there.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Like, yeah, they destroyed all of that.
Right.
This ain't just happened in 2018
No,
and 19.
it's been going on.
This has always been happening. So just like we were discriminated against,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to work our way up to doing something, and
Right.
now we're here.
Okay.
They've been working harder because they were in our camp, in white people's camp, in Hispanic people, in Middle Eastern. It was everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could have been a white person, but you could have been a white homosexual person or bisexual or whatever, and they could have treated you just like they treated somebody else that they didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
But no one thinks about all of it.
Right.
So, in order for us all to help everyone, the first thing is to have that conversation. Because if you don't have that open communication between each other, how can you fix anything? You can't just be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Well, why? And then they'll give you the opportunity to explain your part. And then when they get their chance to explain, nah, I don't want to hear that. Nah. That's not what communication is. Sending and retrieving information to achieve understanding. Sending and retrieving. If all you doing is sending, you're not communicating.
My take on that. I wouldn't throw away a 10-year, 15 or 20-year relationship or friendship with someone because they come out the closet and say, oh, I'm this and I'm that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? At first, I'm going to be a little like, whoa. I'm going to be a little bit, maybe a little bit upset, maybe a little bit of disappointed. Who knows? I never had that experience before. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what would be my reaction towards that. But I can tell you for sure that I would not throw away my relationship or my friendship with any one of my friends. Because first of all, you know what I'm saying? We friends. And if that's the only thing that you kept away from me because you felt some type of way, because you felt like I wasn't going to be your friend, you see what I'm saying? Then maybe it's wrong in your part, you know, for thinking that way. But and you should give that person some time, you know what I'm saying, to come back, you know what I'm saying, and say, hey, you know what, I understand.
Of course. You
feel me? I understand this is who you are, and I want you to know that we still good. We good. We still friends.
Just like
you feel what I'm saying?
We can't push.
I'm not gonna treat you different because you know what I'm saying. We still gonna be cool.
Exactly. We can't push our belief on you, and you can't push your belief on us
because we individual and we still brothers. You know what I'm saying?
It needs to be open. You need to have that, but no one's having that conversation.
We good. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? But like I say, my reaction would be a little different, maybe because I never experienced that before. And at the same time, if that ever happened, that's what I think my reaction would be like. You know, hey, let me think about it for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna treat you different. I'm not gonna say, oh, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be, you know, smart about it and be like, hey, listen, let me think about this, and I'm gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And that way we can conversate and talk about it, and we can move on from there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not going to change you.
Exactly.
You're still going to be the same person. You know what I mean?
One reason I bring it up is because we've had this conversation at every job I've ever been in. I've had this conversation where it's, what would you do if your child said, hey, whatever, what would you do? And a lot of the time,
like I said,
it kills me on the inside.
Whether it's a friend, a brother, or son, it's gonna be the same. It has to be the same reaction, because I'm not gonna put my son out the house. You know what I'm saying? Or mistreat my son or treat him different because he's gay. I'm not going to do that.
But you would be astounded the amount of people who would say, nah, get out. No communication, no asking questions, nothing. Hey, I'm this, you ain't mine. Immediately.
Right. I know.
And I'm like,
there's a lot of people that do it.
And I'm like, that's your flesh and blood. Like, you helped make this. And a lot of people think, oh, if that happens, I'm a failure. No, you're not a failure as a parent at all.
Right.
But the moment you say, get out, you don't belong to me, you ain't nothing to me, that's when you fail.
Yeah. Because you made that child. You know what I'm saying?
You can't.
Well, you didn't make that child, you know. Well, but you helped create that child. You see what I'm saying? So, why would I mistreat my son? You know what I'm saying? If he comes out and say something like that. So I was talking to somebody about it, and they were like, "Nah, man, I just can't do it. I can't." And I'm like, "You couldn't do it? Like, why? Like, explain." I was like, "Explain to me why you couldn't." They couldn't explain it. Right. And I'm like, I get it. It may hurt you. I get it. You're not that. You can't understand it. I get it. I understand. But you're the possibly first person that they're telling. And they live with you. You love them because they're your family. Right. If their family reacts like that, what do you think the world is going to do? Which is why now in schools and around the world, everyone else knows except the family. Because everyone else is more accepting of that person for who that person is than their family is. Okay, I'm glad you know we talking about this because
I told you we gonna talk about stuff that
I never had
that people don't want to talk about.
I'm gonna just say this: I never had the chance to be able to talk about stuff like this because I never experienced anything like that. You see what I'm saying? But there's some things that I don't agree about this subject that we're talking about.
Give me an
For example, we all have kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with schools enticing freely or advertising or teaching kids that they can be whatever they want to be for their sexuality. I don't agree with that at all. Like, for example, I heard, well, I ain't here. I read an article. I don't know how true it is, but there was this transgender woman in the class reading children stories to kids in the class.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that was my kid, and my kid come and tell me, "Hey, listen, Dad, today we had Mrs. Such and Such," and later on we found out that this was a man.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a problem with that because at the same time, you basically not enticing, but you kind of like exposing my kid to something else that he probably doesn't understand, or she probably doesn't understand, and I don't want that to be an enticement or something that's gonna ruin my kid from taking away from what I taught him or her at that time.
So this is where I can agree with how you feel on it, but this is where I disagree. That opens the airway for that conversation.
No, I get it.
But
that.
But not only that, just because.
But let me do it. I don't want nobody else to do it. Let me do it.
Whether you want to be the only one to do it or not, we way past that.
Yeah, but see, if my kid's still small,
you cut the TV on, and it's there. YouTube is there.
Right.
It's everywhere.
I get that.
So you're going to have that discussion anyway. And I get you want to be the one to have that discussion. But on the flip side of that coin, if this person who is whatever they are,
right,
is the most qualified person to be teaching something.
No, I get that. I understand that.
Why is it because of this? We're saying that's literally the same. And people not going to agree with it, but it's literally the same as saying, "Oh, you're gay. We're not going to have you teaching this," or "Hey, you're black. We're not going to have you teaching this." That's the exact same thing because it's still a form of discrimination.
I understand that,
which is against the law.
The only thing I want you to understand what I'm saying. The only thing I am not agreeing with is that. I don't have first of all, I don't have a problem with a transgender woman, you know what I'm saying, is teaching kids. I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So, but I do have a problem with you exposing my child to something that she or he is not even old enough to understand. You understand what I'm saying?
So how are they exposing it?
By you showing as who you as a transgender,
them being there.
Yeah, I mean, because this is
whether you say it the way I said it or not, we're saying the same thing.
I'm not okay. I didn't finish telling you about what the article was saying.
Mm-hmm.
The article was actually saying that the man's genitals came out of his skirt.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? I don't know how true is this. I don't know how true it is. I mean, But I'm just saying, something like that happened, and my kid is in front of you, and he sees that or she sees that, it's gonna confuse them.
So in that case,
you see what I'm saying?
In that case, that falls on the school,
right?
I have no problem with whatever. That's you.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with transgenders or gay folks or anything. I don't have a problem with that.
There are certain rules that have to be in place for that not to happen. Like, I mean, if a child has to have the appropriate wear to go to school, that means the teachers have to have the appropriate wear. Like, if you know,
of course,
if you know that this is how you're going to dress, you should take into consideration as yourself to say, I can't wear this because I know that something could happen if I move incorrectly. That's on the person, yes, and I understand that.
Right,
but
also, even though that happened, I'm still. My issue is I don't want my child to be exposed to something that I work hard on not trying to expose my child to. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm not going to tell my kid, okay, you can be whatever you want for your sexuality. No, I'm going to teach my kid, look, listen, you can be whatever you want for a job or, whatever career you want. But of sexuality, I'm going to explain to you what you came out to be. And then you take it from there. You see what I'm saying? You take it from there. If you want to be a woman, a man, that's on you after that. And once I teach you and I explain to you what it's like, then you can take it from there.
When do you explain that?
When she's old enough or when he's old enough?
When is old enough?
You know what I'm saying? As they growing. You know what I'm saying?
But what number? What age?
Well, first of all, you know what I'm saying? If you're a parent like me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let my 1 or 2 or 3 year old or 4 year old be watching videos with different things that's going to expose them to that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can do whatever you want with your kid. Give him your iPad or give him your phone and let him watch whatever he wants or she wants. You see what I'm saying? But that's not me. That's not me. I'm not going to do that. You feel? I'm going to make sure I watch what I teach my kids. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem with a lot of parents. They just don't care. You feel me?
I can agree with it, but...
Okay, which don't agree.
No, I agree with you teach your child.
I teach my child the way I want to teach my child.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But like I said, you can turn the TV on.
Of course.
You can be watching Die Hard. Great movie. And then it goes on commercial. First commercial is like Sonic. Oh man, Sonic, that makes me hungry. Next commercial, AutoZone. Oh, that's a cool engine. I want to learn about engines.
Right.
Next commercial, RuPaul's drag race
show. Right.
And then the movie comes back on. So whether we want to shelter or keep things or wait to have that conversation, it's happening.
No, I understand. Like, it's already out there.
So it's out there. So that's why I'm asking for what age would be appropriate to have that conversation, because I've seen
it depends.
I saw an article online and I was like, this can't be real. And then it ended up being real. Like it was a child, like 4 or 5 or 6, somewhere in there. And the kid walked up to the parents,
right, and
told them, I'm supposed to be a boy. Parents had no idea where that came from. They were like, what were you watching? And nothing. I was supposed to be a boy. Now, that child is a boy. Happy.
Okay.
But what happens if that's how you feel then? That's what you want. And then it's a mistake. Just like with anything else. Anything that you do, you could make a mistake in it. Whether it's, well, I'm teaching them the way that I was taught. or I'm trying to keep this away from them. I'm gonna let them do whatever they want. When do we stop doing it like, oh, I'm gonna do mine like this, I'm gonna do mine like this, I'm gonna do mine like this, I'm gonna do mine like this? Because when we look at the whole picture, whether we say it or not, it's still gonna be a hindrance in some area somewhere, whether it's sexuality, like mental illness, the way we dress, the way we talk, somewhere is gonna be.
Yeah, it's not perfect.
It's not gonna be perfect with anyone. So my thing is, when do you have that communication? The fact that they have people who are gay, transgender, whatever in the world, you could be in Walmart walking with your child, and then they see that, and you may not see it. They're still exposed to it,
right?
So my question is, like, how do you get?
How do you keep them away from that?
Not how do you keep them away from that? How do you tell them it's okay to have that communication? Well, because as soon as a kid sees it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what was that?"
First of all, you know, if you're a parent like me, you gotta have a relationship with your kid since the beginning. From the beginning, you got to have a relationship with your kid. Boy, girl, it doesn't matter. You know, and as they growing, you know what I'm saying, you teach them, you give them all the knowledge that they need to know. You know what I'm saying? So when they see things like this, they can understand, oh, you know, this is such and such. Okay, my dad already talked to me about that. You know what I mean? And so and so on and so on. You feel me? It's not like you have to you have to wait until they 3 or 4, because the beginning, like in the beginning, from the beginning, they like sponges. Yeah, they get everything. You know what I'm saying? They pick up on anything, everything. So I think that's where the most that's the time where it's more important for you to put that knowledge in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. You know what I'm saying? And then when they get older, you know, 15, 17, 18, whatever, you do what you want. If your preference is to be a girl and you was born a boy, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, friend, brother, son, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna destroy my relationship or my friendship with my family members, all my friends. You're just gonna still be the same way. Because we all children of God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the main point. Is
because I can't
continue to have that,
right? And I'm not trying to like get all religious and stuff like that, but at the same time, I cannot save you. Well, I cannot help you from going to, you know, I cannot help you go to heaven. I can't none of that. I can't help you go to hell or heaven. You know, if there's a heaven or hell. You know what I mean?
You can.
I mean, I can just give you some words, but that's all I can do. There's nothing else I can do. I'm not going to change your mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's another conversation that we need to have. You know what I'm saying? It's a long, that would be a long conversation, and we're
going to have it.
You know what I'm saying?
But my main thing is this. Don't let these letters get in the way. Like I watched a video the other day. It's been a few months now, but it was saying, what if the tables were turned? What if everyone was gay or lesbian and being straight and being straight was
the opposite?
And I was like, that sounds interesting. So I clicked on it and I watched the whole thing.
Okay, so you did watch it.
And after I watched it, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So now in my head, I'm like, I'm a Christian guy, grew up in the church. Everyone's always said, this is sin, this is sin, this is sin. And I'm like, okay, so first of all sin is equal. Nothing is. This sin is not worth more than this sin.
Right.
Sin is sin. That's what that is. So now that that's out of the way, you can't help everyone. You can't help people if you don't talk to people. Like, how do you know that your job wasn't to befriend that person that no one else befriended? Maybe you're that person that needed to be in their life to help them get to where they needed to be. But because you weren't ready for it, no, I'm not going to do that. Now you and that person, what if both of y'all are doomed now? I mean,
I look at it like this.
I could be completely wrong.
No. Listen, I understand what you're saying, but I look at it like this. If I'm supposed to be in your life and be that instrument, that tool that's gonna help you grow, that's gonna help you change, that's gonna help you become what you need to be, then it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen because we miss opportunities, but when it's meant to be, we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I could say, any type of celebrity probably, missed out on a lot of movies. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of movie stars, they passed on to, they passed a lot of movie opportunities.
Yeah, of course.
But to me, I look at it as like it was not meant for you. Even if they offer it to you, it was not meant for you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But another opportunity come and you take it, and you be successful, and you start, you start this career as the best actor in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Then that was meant for you. You feel me?
But you're a seed sower.
You know what I'm saying?
We talked about this a long time
ago. Talked about this a long time ago.
Whether you ready or not,
I think
it'll come to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if it's meant for you, it will come to you.
But you still have free will. Which,
of course.
Oh man, we had a whole discussion about this the other day at work.
Of course.
But you still have free will. You can say, I know what I'm supposed to do, or I know what I can do to help, but it's still up to you to do it.
What I feel is this: if I see a young man that needs help, and me and you are just like, doing something, for the community or something like that, and this young man is like struggling or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I say, hey, DJ, look, check this out. Oh boy, right there, he need help, blah blah blah, this and that. You be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Give him one of these bags full of food. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that'll help him or whatever. Now, if it was my idea to go to him and say, hey, look, how can I help you? Blah blah blah, this and that. Then it was meant to be. You know what I mean? And I become that person's help. Then it's meant to be. You know what I'm saying?
But you still have the choice whether you're going to go over there and do it or not.
But if you say, hey, look, the bag that I brought him, this is just an example of what I'm saying. The bag that you gave me, you know what I'm saying? You might not wasn't the person to go talk to him, but I was.
Yeah.
But you still helped because you gave me the bag to give to him, or you offered.
I'm not talking about that.
You know what I'm saying? So
what I'm saying is, a lot of people say, man, I missed that opportunity or whatever. And yeah, that wasn't meant for you in that moment. I get it.
Okay.
But how will you know unless you go? Because a lot of them don't ever go. And then once their time comes, they go, man, there was a lot of stuff I should have did.
Yeah.
I could have helped this person. I could have did this. But now you're living the rest of whatever you have in regret of not doing it.
Not really.
Not us. But yes, sir.
Not really.
You've never seen a person who's about to die and the first thing they say is, man, I regret not doing blah, 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 blah. You've never heard that.
I heard that, but that's something that that you was planning on doing and you didn't have a chance to do it? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-mm. A lot of people, and I can say this for a fact because it's happened to me, a lot of older white people have talked to me. And the first thing that they'll say is, hey, I don't want to offend you, but you're not like the rest of them. And I've heard that, and I'm like, okay, tell me more.
Like rest of them or who? Like
black people.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, tell me more. Because they look and they're like, I can talk to you. I can't talk to them. Because automatically they're like, last time I thought about talking to them, they looked at me like, nah, you ain't gonna talk to me. Well, maybe they needed to talk to that person, but they didn't take that. They didn't take that step and say, okay, I'm gonna do it. Because if something's on your heart, you be like, whether it's gonna happen or not, you gonna do it. A lot of people don't do it.
Of course.
And then later on, they're like, okay, I should have did that. Because usually, the first time it happens, and you don't do it, sometimes you get a second chance to go back and be like, okay, hey, I should have said this to you before, but I didn't. But sometimes you miss out on that chance. And then now you're thinking, man, I should have said something to them. I knew this was going to happen. Now you living with, I should have did that. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I got you.
Like, I don't want to be filled with, I should have said something.
Right.
Or if I would have said something, would this still have happened? I don't ever want to be filled with that. So anytime somebody's like, hey man, I'm going through some stuff, I listen, period. I don't care who it is. I'll listen to it. Sometimes I shouldn't, but I do. Because it hits me here. And I'm like, like I'll stop at a red light and I have my windows down because I'm listening to music and singing or whatever. And somebody will walk up to my window and be like, hey man. And I know 9 times out of 10, the person who's about to tell me something is making up all kinds of crazy stories. But I still take the time to listen to it. And then whatever I do from that moment on, that's on me. Cause I'm like, okay, I've been sitting in line at this stoplight and ain't nobody said nothing to you. I'm gonna listen to you. What's up? What's going on? Hey man, I ain't trying to lie to you. I'm living right over here, over the thing, and blah blah. I'm like, okay man, look. Tell me what it is. What do you need?
Right.
Or standing in line in Walmart. Just a random person just walk up and start talking to me. I don't know them. They don't know me. But they needed somebody to talk to. Someone who doesn't have a bias in whatever they're talking about. They need to get this off their chest. But we're so...
Don't talk to me.
We're so soft that everything is that someone does to us, we're sensitive about it. Yeah. But when someone comes to us for help, we're so hard that we don't want to be the person. Nah, man, I ain't got time for that. I got other stuff. How are we so flip-flopped? When we need to be sensitive, we're hard. And then when we're hard, we should have been sensitive. We need to stop this because this is really getting on my nerves. Like, we were having a discussion at work one day and somebody was saying everything they wanted to say. And I let them say whatever they wanted. I said, go ahead and say what you say. And as soon as they got done, I said what I wanted to say. But then they turned around and was like, nah, man, I don't like that. You came at me wrong. I was like, no. I listened to you.
Right.
That's your First Amendment. Say what you want. Now I'm exercising my First Amendment, like you just said. You gonna listen, because I ain't gonna stop until you hear me. Just like you didn't stop when you was saying what you was saying. Just because you don't like it, don't mean that I don't have to say, I'm not supposed to say it, because I'm going to say it.
Right.
That's communication. You said your thing, I received it, I'm going to say my thing. You going to receive it.
Right.
You don't have to like it, but something's going to hit you. Which goes into why I said we had a great day today, because that was last week. We had this discussion. It was heated. Everybody was mad at each other. And then today,
it was intense.
And then today, everybody that did something that they knew they shouldn't have did walked up to that person in private and said, "Hey, look, I want to apologize. I should have
Really?
did that." Bruh, today was beautiful.
Oh man! Shout out to the UAMS.
Hey, shout out to us. We making things work, but it was beautiful because whether we were ready for that moment or not, we each said something that stuck.
Yeah.
And as soon as it stuck with us, we was mad in that moment, and we was like, "Man, no, I ain't even finna listen to that." And then we walk off. And then a week later, we've been thinking about that one piece. It was just one piece that somebody said to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's been going on and on and on in their head. And they like, "Man, okay, I get it."
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Like, we was in there hugging and everything. I said, "Man, we a real family." Like, it was crazy.
I love you, man.
It was absolutely nuts. But my thing is, don't go around and not let that happen. Just because you upset about something, or you think you ain't good enough to be the person to say something, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we're all wonderfully and beautifully made. Go do your thing.
Yeah. I understand.
All of us. Even the ones that you say, "Man, ain't nothing good about them," they may be thriving in something that you can't even figure out. But you'll never know.
Yeah.
So just stop. Stop for a minute. Understand. And go from there. Stop cutting everybody off. Because if somebody cut you off because they didn't like something you like, then you'd have felt some kind of way about it.
That's right.
And y'all can tell me, because I know y'all gonna hear this. Y'all gonna be like, "Man, no, I don't agree with that." You don't have to agree with it. But you know someone who does this.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get on that same
I've done
level.
it.
We have to be on the same level.
We have to.
You have to get on the same level.
How do we fix problems if we
don't communicate? That's the whole key. Communication.
Like, your brain is at the top of your head and your feet are at the bottom.
Right.
They have perfect communication. And then whenever something is not perfect, you trip.
That's right.
But then they be like, "Oh, well, hold on. I didn't get that one. What'd you say? Oh, you told me to step up. Okay, I got it."
Yeah.
It's the same with us. Like, if my body has to tell me, like, we don't understand how everybody is literally connected to everybody. Like, you can be like, "Man, I don't like onions." Somebody else say they don't like onions. Because you see somebody else eat something that looks delicious. Now you be like, "Man, what's that?" You eat it. "Man, that's great. They got onions in it." I just learned I like onions. You would never know.
Yeah.
All of this stuff. But we don't take time as humans to be human. We communicate with words and sounds and clicks. We're one of the only that we know of species on the planet that can love. Everyone else just mates. They mate for life. We have a connection called love that only is unique to us. Why do you think that is? Because all of it and everyone can feel it. You walk in the room, man, it's just something about this room is just great. Yeah, you walking in somewhere that you need to be. Don't ignore stuff. But anyway, whatever. I mean, that's one rant for the day.
So what else we got, man? You tell me.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
How is it that as men we can grow up with a single mom, like a single parent in the house?
Right.
Your whole life, it's just been you and your mom.
Okay.
And then you grow excuse me, grow into adulthood, and then we don't respect women?
That's a very good question.
I mean, because I'm gonna let you give your input on it, because I think it's a very interesting question.
It's a very good question,
because no one asked that. Like, a lot of parents,
especially the single mothers,
and this is whether it's men or
not single mothers, single parents.
Whether this is men or women, vice versa.
Right.
But still, being men, I'm asking a man.
Okay.
How do you think that is? How do you think that we can grow up with a single mom, notice everything she does for us, love our mom,
right,
and then we get to an adult and we don't respect any woman?
Well, it depends on it depends on where you grew up at, because I think that if you're a single parent, a mother, and a son or a daughter, well, no, we talking about men, so a son, you would expect for that mother to teach that son, you know what I'm saying, everything that would communicate respect towards a woman. But as you grow older and you're hanging around, you going to school, because the streets are going to teach you different. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So I think that's where that comes from. If you're the type of, let's say, you're the only son, your dad never came around, you know what I'm saying, you hanging with street people, it can change your whole perspective on women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be my take on that.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't go too deep into it, because a mother is not going to teach you how to be disrespectful to her anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because she's playing both. She's playing the dad and the mom. You feel me? So why would you, as you get older, disrespect your mother? You know what I'm saying? Or disrespect women, period.
It goes into how a person's raised, how a woman,
yeah, that's what I'm saying,
raises that child. Yes, it's up to the child to keep up with that. Yeah,
of course.
My thing is, and this is me saying this from a black perspective, if you're a black guy growing up single mom, your mom, and you hear this a lot, you want to find a woman like
just
your
like
mom,
your mother, right? Just like the same thing they say about the dad, you know.
So
the daughter always looking for a man that's just like her father.
So this is, and that could be a problem if you think about it. Say you didn't have the best mom growing up.
Okay.
Not talking about anyone's mom, but I mean, maybe she wasn't there when she needed to be. Or as a father, maybe your father wasn't there at all, which is why you have daddy issues. And now any guy you get with, you just happy he's there. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not how things should be. Because you grew up not having that male figure.
Right.
And now you have that male figure. Yeah, he hit me, but he's here.
But he loves me.
No.
Right.
That causes problems. So flip it on the other side, that could cause a problem. But thinking about the question, how it came across to me, it was a few people asked me, they were like, as a black guy who grew up and I only had a mom, would I see myself with a black woman? And I was like, I could. And I mean, I grew up with both of my parents in my life, but I could see myself with any race of woman. But it seems to me that we're kind of straying away as black people, straying away from black people being with black people. It's more, everything is mixed now. Everything is interracial now. There's still some people who are, oh, I'm gonna marry a black woman or whatever, and I applaud it. But my thing is, I take the color out of the question, and I ask,
okay,
how do men grow up with a mom by herself and then have no respect for women?
For women, right?
Not just black women or white women or what, women in general.
In general, okay.
And a lot of that stems from them not having respect for themselves. We should still, as men, respect them even when they don't respect themselves. And that's where we fall short. Because we, in our music and in our cultures, we have gotten to a point where it's okay to defile and degrade women.
Okay.
And I've called women out on it by saying, hey, why do y'all like these songs like that? Oh, it just sounds good and blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but you're not listening. We talked about this before. You're not listening to the message of what the song is saying. That song isn't... The songs that you're listening to are basically saying that y'all are beneath us when you're not. You're our equals.
Okay.
So if you don't view yourself like that, or if you're jamming out to this song where that's what you're portraying, and you say, oh, that's my song, that's me there, and then a dude just comes at you like that, then you get mad. I am not that type of person. I'm not that way. But you are portraying
that person. Right.
So it all stems to, we should have respect for you, but you should also have respect for yourself.
I agree to that.
So looking into it deeper, I'm not the biggest fan of all of the ratchetness that we have, no matter what race it is. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like it's an instant red flag for me.
Okay.
All of us are not like that, because I've had conversations with people who act like that, but then I sit down and have a conversation with them, and they're some of the most intelligent people I've ever talked to. And then it's like they have a switch in their head. They're like, I'm going to have this intelligent conversation about stuff that people don't... If you look at me, you would never know that that's what I'll be talking about.
Okay.
And then oh, that's my song there, blah, blah, blah. Now you go back to the other way. We need to be more consistent on who we are. I'm not saying change all you are because I don't like it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying...
Right.
If you are trying to portray this person who has intelligence and is diligent and is doing something to better themselves and everyone around them, don't 2 seconds later revert back to a primal state, because now I'm getting mixed signals. I'm still gonna respect you,
right,
and I'm still gonna hire you to a higher standard that even you might hold yourself, but at the same time it shouldn't just be me doing that. But that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree to that. But also you have to understand that we not on the same level. All of us are not on the same level.
Of course not.
We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different ways of we was raised different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but people just use that as a handicap now.
No, I'm not saying it as a handicap.
No, not you.
No. I'm not justifying. You know what I'm saying? The reason why men disrespect women or feel a certain way for women. Maybe it was something that happened to that person that made them feel that way.
Yeah.
Or maybe just because you was the, you was the only child and you was raised by your mother. You know what I'm saying? You have this resentment towards your mother, or you never did wanted to just be with your mother because I don't know, just things like that can make people change their perspective on women.
Yeah,
there are
a lot of factors that go into it. Yeah.
Now, for us, for us women, listening to music that degrades them, it's not our fault. You know what I'm saying? It's their fault. To me, it's also because it depends on what you listen to.
It's also ours.
I mean, it's not ours. It's the artist. The artist is the one that's putting that out there. It's not us.
It's still us.
How would it be us though? If I'm not a rapper.
How many artists make music?
Millions of them.
How many songs do we listen to?
Millions of them.
What are the biggest albums and things that we listen to?
Rap music.
Who's in control?
Whoever's behind the scene.
Us. If we don't listen,
we don't make you listen to nothing.
If we don't listen to
we don't make women listen to anything.
No. If we don't listen to it.
What you mean if we don't listen to it?
We're the reason it plays.
Like if we don't listen to what the words are saying?
No, not even that. Listening to it, period. Turning it on. Every time I click on a song, whether I'm listening to it or not,
okay,
or whether it plays or not, that play goes into an algorithm. Oh, this song got played X amount of times throughout the day.
Okay.
That's us. We are the reason why this music is popular. You can't.
Oh, of course. So I understand what you're saying now.
So without us,
I understand that
as people listening to it, I can make a song right now and it'd be one of the greatest, most inspirational songs ever. But if no one listens to it, it has no power.
Of course,
all of us.
Of course, we give it power.
Yeah, we're giving it power. And then by us listening to it so much, it starts. It's just like more.
It's just like every word we say, we give it power. Mm-hmm. So if we call women B's and H's or whatever, then we giving that word power. And if they get offended, they giving that word power.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
If someone walks into a room and says something that you know is not you,
right?
Why are you going to react to it? Some things just happen. I get it, whatever. But if I walk in a room full of women, and I go, "You bad mom," you don't have to turn around, especially if you know you're not a bad mom, because I'm clearly not talking to you.
I mean, if you turn around, you're turning around because you want to see what's going on.
But
not because you feel like,
But anyone who reacts to it.
Right.
That's a general statement. I could be like, bad mom. I could be reading my phone or just saying words. And if you react to, who you calling a bad mom? That means that somewhere inside of you
feel like you're a bad mom.
You feel like you're not.
Exactly.
So if you react to it, you're giving it power. Just like music, you're reacting to it. You're saying, "Ooh, that's my jam. That's me. That's my song." You're reacting to it. You're giving it power, which is putting into the universe. Oh, you like that? You say that's you. That's your song. That's your jam.
Right.
So you're saying, whether you're saying that is exactly me or not, that's what you're saying to people.
That's right.
So whenever someone associates that with you and you don't like it,
right,
how do you stop it? Then stop doing that. because they wouldn't have done that if you didn't do that. Like if you're listening to music and a song comes on that's vulgar towards all your beliefs, I can look at you and tell, oh, they don't like that. That ain't what that's not them. I can tell.
Well, to me, I understand what you're saying, but to me, it's like you have to be on a different level. Like for example, I listen to hip hop music, but when it gets out of like when it start like bothering my spirit, like man, I feel uncomfortable listening to it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I start listening to different styles of music, and let's say I just like change my my preference on listening to a certain type of hip hop music or something, and then I start listening to this new stuff, you know, and then I feel like I start feeling like my spirit is not really connecting with that song, so I feel uncomfortable listening to that type of music, so I shut it off. You know, I mean, I turned it off. I mean, you know what I'm saying, and I don't listen to it anymore because it makes me uncomfortable. And that to me, it's just like saying I'm on another level. I'm not on the same level when, like back in the, you know, like how I used to be listening to, you know, different type of hardcore raps and hardcore hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same anymore for me. So if you in this new generation, you know what I'm saying, the rap music that's out there now is a little more bold. Now it's like, you know.
It's always been bold. Let's just be honest. It's always been bold.
Well,
and it's not just rap. It's
no. It's kind of flipped. It's kind of flipped a little bit because first of all,
blues and everything in
before,
between.
And I'm gonna tell you what's the difference. Before there was telling you don't do drugs, but now it's like it's the opposite. Yeah, do drugs because this is what's going to happen. You see what I'm saying? So you really
that's one instance, but all music has always been bold. It has.
Yeah.
My parents, I may listen to a song and my parents be like, I can't believe they said that on that song. And then, perfect example, we're listening to the Whisper song by the Yin Yang Twins on the radio.
Okay.
And my mom's listening to it on the radio. She likes it because it's edited. So I play her. I said, "This is the real song." I play the real one. She, I can't believe they saying stuff like that. That's just nasty. And then I go, "Okay, Mom, but what about this song?" And I play a song that she loves.
Okay.
And she like, yeah, but no. It's this. They're talking about the same thing. The way they're saying it
is different.
It's different, but they're talking about the exact same thing.
It's the same thing, like, especially with R&B.
There's a song called "Stand Up in It." And the lyrics literally say, word for word, you ain't did nothing until you stood up in it. And then he goes into saying the different things you can do to it besides stand in it. And he's talking about sex.
Right.
And it's very blatant that he's talking about that.
Yeah.
That's they jam. I can get something that says the exact same thing out of any era.
Yeah, in a different way.
But I understand what you're saying. But to the point of, because you say this a lot, and I agree with you sometimes. This generation, our music is bolder because everyone's so, we have no filter and all this other stuff. But then at the same time, everyone's too sensitive. So I don't really agree with them. But
here's one thing that somebody told me.
It's always been like that. Whether it's like LL Cool J talking about doing that, but the way he says it is so suave, and the wordplay he uses, you can get away with saying it the way he said it because you saying it without saying it.
Yeah.
Or you can go with what's that guy's name that sings that song? Theotis, who he just goes ahead and says it.
It's not as provocative as it used to be. But it's not as provocative. But he doesn't use any
profanity when he says his. And then the next song you listen to, they saying the same thing as both those other people, but they're just saying it vulgar.
Yeah.
That's the main difference, because you know, you just say what you want to.
Perfect example. R&B.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't do too much with hip hop, but R&B is what it is. You know what I'm saying? They tell it to you like it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you listen to the R&B now,
Oh, and hip hop too.
you know what I'm saying? Look at Jodeci. Jodeci, they move in different ways. You see what I'm saying? They sing the same thing in different ways.
Jodeci,
And then you
Jagged
listen
Edge.
to Trey Songz, or you
Yeah.
listen to Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's bolder. Now it's like, you know, straight to the point. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
But we did it.
but how can we stop people from listening to that? We can't, because
Oh,
it's
of
gonna
course not.
always be.
Of course not. You can't stop
if
them
women
from
like the
listening
song-
to it. You can't stop them from listening to it. But at some point, we have to realize that we do have the power
Yeah, we
of
do
what,
have the power.
of what plays the most.
I agree to that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is only a few of us that agree to that. Because you can't do everybody. Everybody's not going to be on, because they're not on that level yet.
Oh yeah,
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. But my main thing is we have the power to stop it, but we don't. Collectively, we don't want to. Some of us do,
Of course.
but you know the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Because for me,
just because a few of us don't like it, yeah, okay, we won't play that song right now, but eventually it's gonna play, and that's just kind of how it is.
like as for me, you know, I do a lot of filming. So when I go to these different events, you know what I'm saying, I come across people that's, you know, very religious, people that's, you know, that's into that type of thing, you know what I'm saying? And the music that they play, it goes out the window. You feel what I'm saying? So they don't, you know, they not. I think to me,
They
like
don't
when
all
people
like
listen to
secular
that,
music.
you know, like for me, like when people listen to music, I don't think they listening to or they paying attention to what the words are saying. I just think they just do it because it's something natural to them. Like you hear music or any beat, you know, it could be an instrumental. You gonna start dancing. That's your human reaction.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Like people
so they're
can
not really paying
people can
attention.
recite a whole song word for word and not have a clue about
And not
what
even
they
have
just
a
said.
clue on what they're saying. Like for example, and I hate to talk about it. I think I did this on the last episode. I don't know if we recorded this when I say something
Talking
about
about hey ya.
about Andre 3000. You know what I'm saying? If people listen to the words, you know what I'm saying, they would know what he's talking about. You feel me? But that song went number one in the country for like weeks and weeks and weeks.
Oh yeah.
I even heard it on the rock station. And rock only play rock music. You feel me? So
Everything is together.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You know, we
Just
can't
like-
stop
just
people
like
from
pop
listening
is-
to it.
Just like pop is not a genre.
I mean, you know, they have to categorize different sounds, different music. Like I didn't even know folk was something.
Folk?
Yeah.
Folk music.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How did you not know that?
No, but I'm not saying that I didn't know that. I'm saying that I didn't know that's what you call it. You know, that
Folk
was the
music.
yeah.
Like bluegrass, folk music. But pop is not a genre. It's
You know
not.
what I'm saying?
Because you can have a Taylor Swift song and it be pop, and then you can have a rock song that's pop, and then you can have
Bro.
a country song that's pop. Because popular is just pop is short for popular.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something that really, really did bother me since you say that. You know, like when you're trying to organize your music, and you know, see, I'm very unique when it comes to organizing my music. You feel me? So when I have my music on the on my music player or whatever, my media player, I want my music to have the right name for it. You know what I'm saying? If it's gonna be rap music, let it be under rap music. If it's gonna be pop, let's be under pop. Mm-hmm. But it bothers me when I, like, for example, there's a Taylor Swift song, you know what I'm saying, and it's a pop song, and then when you look for, like, to update the information on it, it comes up as you know, country, but it's really not country. It's a pop song.
No, it's country.
You know what I'm saying? Or
it's a popular country song. Or
it's country is a country song, but they update it as pop music. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. I can't. It bothers me. You feel me?
It's because
I like to be organized when it comes to music. You feel me?
So pop, to me, I have a list on my music, and it's called vibes. Whatever I'm feeling at the time, my pop goes literally R&B, country, rock, gospel, R&B, electronic, because it's popular to me.
Right.
It's not saying all of this stuff is pop. It has to sound like this to be pop, because that's a lie. Because pop is short for popular. It could be a popular gospel song, a popular country song, a popular alternative rock song.
Right.
But pop itself isn't a genre, because a genre can be classified because of how it sounds, the way that the words are used, and things of that nature. Right. That's how you categorize it. All of those things go in pop. It don't matter what it sound like. People are constantly calling to hear this. That's pop.
Right.
Because Taylor Swift's Teardrops on My Guitar is a country song.
Okay.
But when it first came out, it was popular. Everybody kept wanting to hear it, so it was pop. Now it's not as popular. Now it's just classified as a country song.
So what is she considered as now? Like a pop star, or just a country?
The reason why she's considered a pop star or a pop artist is because no matter what she puts out, it's popular.
Okay, I got you now.
So that's what that really means.
So it's not really a genre. It's just a variation.
The playability of it. If Taylor Swift comes out with something tomorrow, it's gonna be popular because everybody's gonna want to hear it. It's gonna go to the top because everyone's gonna click it. So it's pop.
Gotcha.
Until you get tired of it and it falls back into, okay, that had this, and this, so that's a rock song.
Okay.
And we put it over there. That's what it is.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Look at us just putting everything into place.
That's what I'm talking about. Shout outs to everybody who listens to the podcast. Keep it a buck.
I was waiting for you to say that the whole time we were doing the show. He hasn't said it yet.
Hey, you know what? I got to talk to my people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
All that good jazz.
You know, I just want people to understand that we do a lot of stuff, you know, when we do this. You know what I'm saying? We go,
and all the stuff that we do behind the scenes before we even get to this.
If you was to take a picture right now and just post, you know what I'm saying, you'll see all this stuff all over the place.
If y'all knew how many times we done recorded 19 just so that it's right, y'all would be like, what? Like, we have recorded this is what, number 4? 5.
This is about the fifth time we recorded 19.
The fifth time that we recorded this, and every time we recorded it, it's been something completely different talked about.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we're doing this to make sure that we giving y'all the best content, our honest opinions. We're gonna keep it a buck with you. That's what it is. It wasn't right. We didn't like it. We had technical difficulties a few times.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Now that this is where we are, we can agree. We like it. Everything seems to be working fine. Y'all gonna get this one.
Yeah. 19 is in the books.
19 is in the books. So, you got anything else to add before we end it?
Man, I can't wait to the last episode. You know what I'm saying? I keep wondering like how it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna go amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking it into existence. It's going to go amazing.
Other than that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just happy I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? We're back at it. You know what I'm saying? We got everything working this time. You know what I'm saying? It's good. Anything you want to add?
These are going to be my words of wisdom for the end of every
Uh-oh.
podcast.
Is this something new that we about to start
it's
with?
going to be a words of wisdom. Or this is how I'm feeling at the moment. Maybe wisdom in next
Do you need
podcast.
an intro or something, man?
I was gonna say the next podcast I might be like, hey, y'all heard what I said last podcast? Hey, don't do that. But at this moment, because we've been talking about a whole bunch of different things, whether it's love or friendships or family or whatever. So
Yeah.
at this moment, I feel like, and I'm a pause our little Suge instrumental.
Go ahead.
So this is how I feel.
In a word.
In words. So you abandon and abuse yourself every time you say yes when you want to say no. You can call it loyalty, you can call it love, friendship, standing up for family, whatever it is. Because really you're just hoping someone will see how amazing you are and choose to acknowledge it. But it doesn't always work like that. So instead of waiting for others to choose you, choose yourself first. That's how you get other people to see the greatness that you already are. Because if you bag yourself, they're going to want to bag you. So make sure you always keep it a buck with you first, and the rest will always come just as it needs to. So yeah.
I agree to that. 100%.
Cool.
In a words.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll be here next week. Okay, that's not that.
Next time he'll give you a lecture, man. Okay.
Oh, man. But no, I mean, just,
Nah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? I agree to it. You know what I'm saying? You got to give yourself love. You know what I'm saying? Self-love. You have to practice self-love in order for you to feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Don't look for someone else to fill the void that only you can fill.
Don't let nobody else validate, you know what I'm saying, like what you do or who you are or what kind of skills you have or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Self-love. Respect yourself. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So on that note, you know what I mean?
Make sure you always keep it a buck.
Keep it a buck. The music, my man. DJ Impossible.
What? The bad guy. The bad guy.
You are now listening to DJ. You are now listening to DJ Impossible.